Oh, hello everybody. I'm just doing a little bit of research, which is what you're going to be doing soon. So let me just set this down. Okay, so let's take a look at the library website, which you will be using for a lot of this research. And, you're going to be using it for a lot of your academic career too. And honestly, I use it a lot because what you get through the library is so phenomenal. There are so many databases and everything that you would typically have to pay for if you were not a student. You are already paying for these services through your tuition and fees. So I highly recommend using them. Okay, so let's look at what is available to you. All right, so to access the Northeastern Library website, you're just going to go to library.northeastern.edu, as you can see up here. Once you get here, you're going to see a lot of different stuff on the webpage, including the library hours, several databases, etc. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of what is on the periphery, and then we'll talk about more, searching for academic articles. So if you were, working in person, we could talk about the library hours, etc. But the big thing that you want to take into account here is this Ask a Librarian link. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. The Ask a Librarian link is so important. One of my favorite things that Northeastern has is this online chat that is available 24/7. You do not understand how amazing that is. So say you are having trouble finding information about your topic, or you're having trouble coming up with a research question, or your search results aren't coming up with anything good, talk to a librarian. There are specific librarians for every subject. There are specific librarians for the first year writing program, and there's just general librarians. Lots of them know everything. Now, what makes the 24/7 chat so cool is literally if you are writing your essay at 4 a.m., there will be someone there, because Northeastern has partnered with a lot of librarians all over the world, and they all work at universities and they all know the databases. So once you say that you are at Northeastern University, the librarian will know which databases you have access to and will be able to help you out. So cool, so amazing. Okay, so that's one of the big things I think you should definitely know about. I'm just going to go back to the homepage. Chat with a librarian is obviously my favorite. So there's a few other things. If you look over for information, you can find information for online students. So that might have information about, all sorts of different things. And you can see with your program who your specific librarian is. And here you can also look at research tutorials, which a lot of these we are using on our course, but you can kind of look through about choosing keywords, choosing a research topic, etc. Now, I'm just going to close that. Another thing, if you get information for, you might find information for undergraduate students. So this has more information for common questions, reserving spaces on campus. Obviously, that's not as big of a deal right now. Borrowing and returning loans, etc. The big thing that you are going to be using a lot is OneSearch. OneSearch is the closest thing to a Google search that you have, where you can just basically put in your search terms without any special canoodling, and you will find what you need. A lot of search databases, they need special attention. So Scholar OneSearch basically just searches everything, and for your cases, it's awesome. So here I might just type in plastic bottles on beaches and then hit search. And I'm going to wait and see what comes up. So one thing you might notice right off is that there are 27,000 results. Obviously, not all of them are going to be great for me. That's fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is do full text online. That is all of my results right now. Sometimes your results might include, books that are in the library or things that are not available through just aren't available to you. So I always like to click that just to make sure that everything is available to me from my desktop at home. The next thing that's really important is looking at peer-reviewed journals. So this is specifically looking at, we do peer review in class, and a peer-reviewed journal is basically when a researcher sends in and other researchers in the field read their article and say, yes, I agree, I think your conclusions are sound, etc. So if I wrote about writing and I sent it into a scientific journal, it wouldn't get published because other people in the science community aren't interested in writing. But if I sent it in to a writer's journal, then I would have other people talking about writing pedagogy, how to teach writing, and they would look and go like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That aligns with what we've been seeing in our classes, that aligns with other research that's being done, etc. This isn't boo cookie. Okay, so a lot of times I'm just going to click peer-reviewed journals. Now, one thing to note about peer-reviewed journals is that a lot of times you are not their target audience. It is going to be other researchers in the field who are their target audience. So there might be some issues with understanding that it's a little deeper of knowledge or just difficult to read because they use a lot of jargon, but just a thing to know. So another way, so those are two ways of narrowing down. You can also look through kind of on the left-hand side here, just to make sure like, hey, I want to make sure it's in English, or if I wanted it to be in Portuguese, that would be fine. Another thing might be looking at date. So looking at this, there's articles from 1800 to 2020. So I might say, I want something recent in the last 5 years. So for some topics, the date is going to be really important. Sometimes it's going to be less important. So it depends kind of what your topic is. So I'm going to put in 2015, and you see this brought it down to 1,000 topics. So there's lots of things that I can do to continue kind of narrowing down. The other thing is you might want to do an advanced search. So for an advanced search, you can kind of click over and say like, I want something by a specific author. I know this is really helpful for me a lot because I'm interested in certain, I might find an article by someone and I say, ooh, I really want to read that article, or I want to read other articles by this person because their research is really interesting to me. So you might look at it that way. You might say the subject or the specific title, and you might say, I want to talk about plastic bottles, right? And I want to talk about beaches, or Michigan, and not Detroit. Okay, so kind of looking at this, it's saying I want things that have both of these search terms or this other search term, but not this search term over here. If that's confusing to you, don't worry about it. It's not something you necessarily need. You can certainly use the basic search. So that is about it. When you're using Scholar OneSearch, you can literally just put whatever you want in there, and it'll come up with things that match your research interests. But if you are having trouble finding something that is exactly what you are looking for, that is when it is a great time to reach out to a research librarian using the chat 24/7 and talk to them, and they will definitely be able to help narrow your research and find something that is great for you. All right, so thank you for journeying with me into the library. We took a tour around. We saw all the windows and chairs and bookshelves. I wish I used to do that. Okay, so thank you for touring the library website with me. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.